Dear dirty Dublin, Dubliners, two Dublin Vestals, Stephen said, elderly and pious, have lived 50 and 53 years in Fumbally's Lane. Where is that? The professor asked. Off Black Pits. Damp night reeking of hungry dough, against the wall, face glistering tallow under her fustian shawl, frantic hearts, Akashic records, quicker darlant. On now, dare it, let there be life. They want to see the views of Dublin from the top of Nelson's Pillar. They save up 3 and 10pence in a red tin letterbox money box. They shake out the 3penny bits and a 6pence and coax out the pennies with the blade of a knife. 2 and 3 in silver and 1 and 7 in coppers. They put on their bonnets and best clothes and take their umbrellas for fear it might come on to rain. Wise virgins, Professor McHugh said. Life on the raw. They buy 1 and 4pence worth of brawn and 4 slices of pan loaf at the North City dining rooms in Marlborough Street from Miss Kate Collins, proprietress. They purchase 4 and 20 ripe plums from a girl at the foot of Nelson's Pillar to take off the thirst of the brawn. They give 2 3penny bits to the gentleman at the turnstile and begin to waddle slowly up the winding staircase, grunting, encouraging each other, afraid of the dark, panting, one asking the other, "Have you the brawn?" praising God and the Blessed Virgin, threatening to come down, peeping at the air slits. Glory be to God. They had no idea it was that high. Their names are Anne Kearns and Florence McCabe. Anne Kearns has the lumbago for which she rubs on Lourdes water, given her by a lady who got a bottle full from a passionate father. Florence McCabe takes a crew bean and a bottle of double X for supper every Saturday. Antithesis, the professor said, nodding twice. Vestal virgins, I can see them. What's keeping our friend? He turned. A bevy of scampering newsboys rushed down the steps, scampering in all directions, yelling, their white vapors fluttering. Hard after them, Miles Crawford appeared on the steps, his hat aureoling his scarlet face, talking with J.J. O'Malloy. Come along, the professor cried, waving his arm. He set off again to walk by Stephen's side. Return of Bloom. Yes, he said, I see them. Mr. Bloom, breathless, caught in a whirl of wild newsboys near the offices of the Irish Catholic and the Dublin Penny Journal, called, Mr. Crawford, a moment. Telegraph, racing special. What is it, Miles Crawford said, falling back a pace. A newsboy cried in Mr. Bloom's face, Terrible tragedy in Rathmines, a child bitten by a bellows. Interview with the editor. Just this ad, Mr. Bloom said, pushing through towards the steps, puffing and taking the cutting from his pocket. I spoke with Mr. Keyes just now. He'll give a renewal for 2 months, he says. After, he'll say. But he wants a pair to call attention in the Telegraph too, the Saturday Pink. And he wants it if it's not too late, I told Councillor Nanetti from the Kilkenny People. I can have access to it in the National Library. House of Keys, don't you see? His name is Keyes. It's a play on the name. But he practically promised he'd give the renewal. But he wants just a little puff. What will I tell him, Mr. Crawford? KMA. Will you tell him he can kiss my arse? Miles Crawford said, throwing out his arm for emphasis. Tell him that, straight from the stable. A bit nervy. Look out for squalls. All off for a drink, arm in arm. Lenehan's yachting clap on the cadge beyond. Usual blarney. Wonder is that young Daedalus the moving spirit? Has a good pair of boots on him today. Last time I saw him he had his heels on view. Been walking in muck somewhere. Careless chap. What was he doing in Irish Town? Well, Mr. Bloom said, his eyes returning, if I can get the design, I suppose it's worth a short par. He'll give the ad, I think. I'll tell him. K-M-R-I-A. He can kiss my Royal Irish arse, Miles Crawford cried loudly over his shoulder. Any time he likes, tell him. While Mr. Bloom stood weighing the point and about to smile, he strode on jerkily.